Recording.
Thank you. This is Ray Hill, and I'd like to thank you, everybody, for taking the time on this last day of the Olympics to join us for a very interesting and I think exciting topic, which is fluorescence, the use of fluorescence in the identification of gems and diamonds. Um, we are a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization whose sole purpose is education in gemology. And we hope to present over the years, the last 6 years, we've been doing this to bring the world's leading experts in various fields to share their knowledge with you and hopefully help to grow yours. Our, our, our program tonight is going to start with a minute of silence. And that is because we like to respect the passing of a great man who has been a speaker in our program more than twice, Dr. George R. Rossman of Caltech. Unfortunately, he passed away in less than 2 weeks ago, and the world and we will miss him. So, out of respect, I'd like us just to have a moment of silence. On behalf of Dr. Clemens Schwartzinger and myself, we'd like to welcome you all to a very interesting talk about fluorescent techniques in identifying gems. And our presenter, as you may have already noticed in your invitations, is a fairly well-known, internationally known research gemologist by the name of Branko Deljanin. He has a GG, an FGA, and a DUG. That's the first time I've seen a DUG, which apparently is a French designation. He's had experience with an advanced testing of diamonds and gemstones, and he's an expert in identification of natural, treated, and synthetic diamonds and gems for subsequent certification, and works with lab instruments to determine the origin of color for colored diamonds and gems and the provenance of pink diamonds. He is instructor of intermediate advanced gemology programs and is offering those programs in over 25 countries in over four continents. He's been a regular contributor to trade and gemological magazines and presented reports at several prestigious research and gemological conferences, including the Mediterranean Gemological and Jewelry Conference that he co-founded in 2015. So I'd like you to put on your hearing aids and headphones and whatever else you need to hear our interesting speaker, and I'd like you to welcome Branko Deljanin.
Thank you, Ray and Clemens, for hosting me. My second talk for your webinars. My first talk in 2026. I'm not as famous as Clemens to do 2 talks in Tucson. I was too late to register for the talk, so I did not, but I'm very happy to talk about fluorescence. This is overview of the lecture. We'll talk about, of course, instruments and what is fluorescence and phosphorescence. And cover a little bit natural diamonds and synthetic, of course. And at the end of half time, we'll talk about gems. What we can do with some instruments to screen them, and in many cases, identify gem in question. We'll summarize it with a relation of fluorescence to the spectra, visible and photoluminescence, how we can combine these to even get more information. Okay, so fluorescence of diamonds. Let's start first with diamonds. People knows me more as a researcher on diamonds, and I did study them a lot. But of course, last few years, gems are more popular, and I cannot talk about diamonds only. So, what is a photoluminescence? It's a process of relaxation of excited electrons in crystal with the light. So when this relaxation occurs instantly, it's called fluorescence. We can see the colors and observe and make a note. If you turn off the source, the light, and I can show you, probably you know how looks UV light, but this is one model jewelry inspector. When you turn off the source and it's still phosphorescing, emitting light, it's called phosphorescence. Very important to understand this because it helps identification, especially on lab-grown diamonds. The many instruments on the market are using different type of photoluminescence, fluorescence, phosphorescence. I will mention a few that I'm using, but of course there are many others, and I will maybe talk about them, but we can ask questions. But I used many of them, but not all of them. It's not possible. There's 30, 40 instruments on the market. You can see a picture here on the left in daylight on natural diamonds, on the right under long UV light. It's just a beginning, but if you see weak, medium, or strong blue fluorescence, like you see on many of these diamonds, not all, you probably deal with natural diamond. See, there's one stone here that is almost none, and one is weak. So these stones we can check more under short UV light and, of course, other instruments. The two stones fluoresce yellow. It's still okay because they're medium to strong yellow, and if you turn off and change from long UV, you can see here long UV and short UV. If you change to short UV and it's weaker, then we're dealing with natural diamonds. Don't worry, I will repeat this in a few slides, and it will be much more easier to understand if you're seeing it for first time. This instrument I was showing you, but now it's in the picture. This is done by Geometrix. You can see some lab-grown diamonds, especially those HPHT grown. HPHT stands for high pressure, high temperature. It's one of the processes. Another one is CVD, it's carbon vapor deposition. I will use these short terms HPHT and CVD so you know the difference. It's important because they do react differently under long UV and short UV light and different UV excitations. You can see here on the right, this yellow fluorescence under long UV changed to more, I can say, green-blue. And if I turn off this light, they will phosphoresce if it's a HPHT diamond. So this is something to introduce you on diamonds. Of course, I'm not the only expert on diamonds. There are many of them. One of them who talk at my online academy is Taijin Lu from China. He is the head of NGTC laboratory. This is his slide. And I like it because you can see in one slide, different. Somebody should turn off the microphone. I can hear somebody. You can see on the top left, yellow and green fluorescence of diamonds. Many people in the trade are confused or scared when they see this kind of fluorescence. And they think something is wrong with the diamond or might be synthetic. Some diamonds do fluoresce this, yellow or green, less than 10%. But as long as under short UV, what's the bottom line, fluorescence is weaker, you can see it called weaker yellow, weaker green, weaker orange. This is your natural diamonds. Of course, sometimes fluorescence is so strong, almost become white. This is like a blue fluorescence in reflection, you can see, but it's very strong blue, become almost white. But the short UV is a little bit weaker, natural diamonds on the left. On the right, opposite. Almost no reaction on the long UV in these two cases. And then you can see medium to strong, you can say yellowish green or green fluorescence and phosphorescence. This is your HPHT, high pressure, high temperature. This is two columns on the left. The last one on the right is more or less classic, typical fluorescence of CVD diamond. Under long UV, it's a little bit greenish blue, not completely off. That's very important to check short UV because you can see how it's weak to medium, a little bit stronger under short UV. This is your CVD diamond. This is one slide that really tells you how it's important to check fluorescence of diamonds, especially in jewelry, especially in the small stones, because you cannot check each 5-10 point diamonds to send to laboratory. So very important to check fluorescence of diamonds. This is a test I do, believe it or not, first or second. After I loop the diamond or jewelry, I first use UV lamp. I like this one because you can put, you can see here, you can put bigger pieces of jewelry. You can put rings, little bracelet, you can put even chain here, you roll it along here, and you can put chains. So it's called jewelry inspector because you can test jewelry, not only loose. And this is a very old picture with my colleague Dusan Simic and Sherry Woodring. We did 2 editions of book Laboratory Grown Diamonds, 2004, 2007. This is 2001. My best-selling book, and we noticed many years ago, of course, that these diamonds that grows by HPHT, you can see on the top, do phosphoresce sometimes 30 seconds, sometimes 1 minute after the light is off. Of course, in this case, we have huge metallic inclusion. This is a synthetic diamond grown by Impressis. Who knows, probably China or Russia, or could be a European country. But phosphorescence is giving you this proof that is synthetic. No need to do other tests and worry about certification, especially important for smaller stones. because most HPHT, most melee diamonds that you see in the jewelry are grown in China by HPHT process, small diamonds. Larger stones are now grown by CVD, carbon vapor deposition. What I see in my laboratory in Canada, and I talked to many people who are doing certification. This is a common trend the last 5 years. Larger stones over carat CVD, smaller stones under carat HPHT. Of course, could be other way as well. This is interesting stone. My biggest stone, it's amazing how things are changing. 2015, like now 11 years ago, that was the biggest stone on the market, 1002 carat, EVS1. At the first conference I did in Greece, 2015, Mediterranean conference, Russian company NDT, with new diamond technology, brought this stone. And of course, we immediately check on the UV light. On the long UV, not so much, none. On the short UV, you can see a mixture of this blue, or greenish blue, and orange fluorescence, all 3 stones, but this is the one that is big. So we studied that, of course, and check. This is a HPHT stone grown in the, we know it's HPHT, but why it's this kind of fluorescence? This is due to boron. This is a common element that is present in HPHT grown diamond, the phosphorescence because of boron. And this orange yellow is due to NV center, who wants to be more scientific. NV is nitrogen vacancy center that happened to this producer also create this kind of center by growing it. So there are many other little booklets I'm using at my workshops. Like this is fluorescence of diamonds, just on diamonds. Why it's important? Because on the left you can see how it looks. 6 stones on the right is under long UV light and under short UV light. If you look at each color, each row, you can see short UV is constantly 1 degree stronger. More greenish blue, more yellowish. These are stones, CVD, that are post-treated, but doesn't matter for you, the lab-grown diamonds. They let here a little bit greenish component. That was 2016. My colleague George Pyramilus from the Greek lab came 50 stones in a parcel like this. So by this technique, we screen them. Of course, we can prove by spectroscopy. Later on, we did study at Marjorie Labs instruments to prove it with the photoluminescence. This is my classic set, called synthetic diamond kit, that has little instruments that I developed. I didn't invent it, but my idea is that to combine portable version of this, smaller one, peel inspector, little bit portable polariscope, what is here on the picture on the bottom, and of course light. You can use this on the microscope, you can put it on the light. With these two, of course, you have loop and tweezers. I mean, you can go to the show and with 2 techniques, combining fluorescence on the top, and the bottom line is your pattern under cross polarized filters. No time to talk about this too much, but basically, this is analyzer and polarizer, and we check the strain or stress in a diamond. It's not fluorescence, it's like internal structure. It's not inclusion. So you can see here why it's important. See, this is classic natural diamond. Could be from Australia, it's Argyle, for example, could be pink diamond, doesn't matter. This is diamond, natural. This diamond usually has a little bit of multicolor strain. This is another option, what is super rare, 2-3% type 2A diamond, do not have nitrogen as impurity, and they have usually no fluorescence. So fluorescence doesn't help in all cases, of course. You can have natural diamonds type 1 without fluorescence. By GI statistics, they're saying 60%. I think is less, but let's say that 30% to 40% do fluoresce blue. The rest don't fluoresce or fluoresce other colors. This is in the middle, you have typical HPHT or high pressure, high temperature synthetic diamond. You see none under long UV and obviously medium yellowish green under short UV, no stress. They're baby born, they're without stress. Like today in my town of West Vancouver, that is, I'm in the forest here, I'm at home, I'm not stressed at all. I'm just talking to you about diamonds. So this is your CVD diamond I mentioned before. In this case, pattern is parallel. Why parallel? Because they grow in layers, like CVD, carbon vapor deposition, layers. Of course, it's not so simple all the time. I wish all diamonds like this. It would be easy for everybody, but sometimes it's complicated. You will see later. Why? Because new generation diamonds are mostly post-treated. I was in Surat in 2024, year and a half ago in October, visited the factory. Most of them are post-treated. Why? because they grow them very fast brownish or tinted grayish, and they put them after that in a presses, HPHT, to change color, improve from, let's say, light yellow or brown or brownish to high color, D, F, G, H. So pattern change to look like this, what is crossed, and look in the middle. This is your typical strain in a tatami pattern, we call it. Very fine, very nice, more gentle, and I can separate, but here to see a lot of stones, and sometimes it's not possible to separate in some cases. So it looks like natural pattern. On the right is your classic CVD, more like a columns. What's the problem for us? Because many stones now, CVD on the market, do not fluoresce, or if they fluoresce like this, weak on both sides, or almost the same. So fluorescence is good to point these stones, because very rare you have natural diamond that has weak or medium on both long UV and short UV. I've never seen it, or very close. You have to really use camera and software to really see the difference. It's not always good to use your eyes. That's why this is good, because you can make a picture through this opening. It's very safe. It's blocking short UV light is not dangerous. This is my instructions for to make it. And this is an instrument that just came out the last Hong Kong show in March. I'm going this next week to this Hong Kong show. It's called DOVE, D-O-V-E. Why is it different? Because using deep UV light. If this is your classic UV box, and you can have other one from GIA or from HRD or from the many companies making it actually UV lights. Short UV is here 254, 356. In this case, it's 220, deeper. You heard probably about the instrument, many instruments actually on the market, like Sherlock Holmes or Coda by Diatru or by OG. Of course, Diamond View by De Beers. They use deep UV. Why? Because you can see better internal structure of diamond, and you can see easier these colors in short UV light. How easy? This is your classic HPHT. And become more green, blue, blue-green. It's suspicious. You can see on the right here one I guess ring or pendant. You can see all these colors are blue or violet blue, which is good, natural, and one of them is a little bit more green, and this one will probably phosphorus. Or not, but doesn't matter, but the color is very different. So basically by color, you can match this to the manual and use it on jewelry and parcels of stones. Very important to put, you can see here, you can put few stones, melee. Because these melee stones are a problem. I've seen many mixtures, and I'll show you later a few cases at my laboratory that we have problems with stones. Of course, there is not only me, there are many other good people who are writing books, and I want to recommend you this one from Thomas Henschwagen. Just came out this last September. I was with him at the FEEG, what is European Gemological Conference in Linz, Austria, where Clemens is based. They invite me to talk about my topic on diamonds, but also Thomas was talking about fluorescence of diamonds. Very good book, because you can see on the bottom, by studying with different wavelength the diamonds, you can see if they're natural or synthetic. This is a very unusual crystal of rough diamond. Look at this beautiful like a flower fluorescence. All this green is basically hydrogen that fluoresces green under UV light. On the top is a part of his talk he did for me in 2021 online gemology. You can see typical pattern of your HPHT synthetic diamond. You can see here octahedral pattern and cubic. This is what you want to see. So basically studying with Diamond View, or in his case, he's using his own sources. On the right, you can see also how CVD diamond has these lines, layered growth structure. This is what we can do by studying diamonds with how they grow with different wavelengths. So this is a good book. I'm also selling it, but Thomas, the only person that I'm inviting third time to my conferences, he'll be in Dubai, and he'll be selling it there, but I'm selling it also online on my website. It's a very good book, a lot of good information on fluorescence of diamonds, of course. Here, very practical for you who are in jewelry, most of you are, or appraising, and I see some appraisers coming today, or gemologists. You have this huge chain, 110 diamonds. Why it's important? Came to Vancouver. I have a laboratory here. I saw a Canadian Gemological Laboratory. So I came to Vancouver, And the current client bought in New York for $50,000 all natural diamonds. Okay, so what we can do? Of course, I use this and put it in the chain here, and I see that. Wow! I said, what is this? Long UV was none. You can see on the left. This is just a blue light of the lamp, long UV lamp. On the right, 108 out of 110 has this medium bluish green color. You see this? So what happened? And then, of course, see, when stone is big, this is each stone is close to the carat, 0.83 is each stone average. So 44 carat of diamonds. You can see even a pattern that is layered. I hope you can see a layered pattern. So you can use two techniques even without sending to laboratory. You can say this is layered pattern, short UV stronger, cannot be natural. They're basically 108 CVD and 2 naturals.
Just a quick question here, Branko.
Yes.
When you're seeing the layers in that, are you using an instrument that's not black light?
This.
Okay.
So basically,
just to clarify.
No problem. So basically, what I like, I put this on my microscope. Why microscope? Because I can do even 5-point, 10-point diamonds, but I cannot do when it's a bezel set. I cannot see it. It has to be from the side. So I put this on a microscope. Imagine this is my necklace here, and I look from the side, and I see this layer structure on the microscope. I make a picture with my cell phone for the microscope, not even a good camera, just a normal cell phone for the microscope. This is a picture. You can see a layer structure, short UV stronger, and I did make a picture. And interesting story, but what dealer told, this is interesting. So dealer used, I don't know if you heard, probably you did, Ray and others, about instrument from GA called ID100. Its instrument cost around $5,000. That is basically what it is. It's really a strong long UV light, fiber optic. I have similar instrument by Margil Labs called EXA. Difference, my instrument is more expensive because it's showing you spectra as well. The instrument just says pass, refer. And then if it's refer all synthetics and 2-3%, or I think more, 5 to 7% of natural diamonds. So basically, this is interesting. This dealer in New York knows where the 2 natural diamonds. Understand? And he put his 2 fiber optic on exactly 2 natural diamonds and said pass. Okay, I want to see one more. Pass. So basically, he's telling me based on 2 samples that all 110 are natural, and selling him 108 lab-grown diamonds. I gave him a report, and I hope he got money back, because it happened in Vancouver a few times, a local market, that people use my reports and get money back because it's not what they present. Of course, there's a lot of gold here. There's 88 grams, mostly gold. Okay. Diamonds are 44, so maybe 10 grams of diamonds, or 100 carats, 50 carats of diamonds, but there is a 78 grams of gold. So it's a value, but it's not $50,000. It should be less. Anyway, this is case number 1 I want to show you, because it's there's now just another case just to show you how I showed you a few minutes ago. 10 karat diamond was the biggest stone in the world 16 years ago. Now in Vancouver, with a relatively small town, 2.5 million, Toronto is double. We have 12 69 karat diamond coming to me for testing and for appraising. VS1F, nothing wrong with the stone. I just want to show you how it's simple to use this technique. Not always simple, because you have to do interpretation, but you can see here that these lines are really going towards the table, more or less parallel. You can say something is wrong. We can maybe say, oh, maybe it's a tummy, maybe CVD, but then you can do another test, fluorescence, and same diamond, 12 karat, and the long UV. So be careful. Many dealers buying cheap these chains in China, Hong Kong, whatever, that cast only long UV. If you just check long UV light, oh, I see a weak blue fluorescence. Oh, natural diamond with blue fluorescence. No. Always check short UV light. Invest some money. $300 US, $600. It's not big investment if you save one stone like this. So this is your short UV. You see, you have to compare now. It's a little bit more stronger, not so much, maybe 1 degree, medium, and become this green color. Believe me, green is more obvious with your eyes. The camera showing blue-green or green-blue. But Of course, I use three techniques. I always use photoluminescence, and there's a small but very important, in this case, silicon vacancy center 737. So I proved the three tests within less than 5 minutes. This is synthetic diamond. But this is important test, cross-polarized filters and fluorescence. This is spectroscopy just to, I need to do it as a laboratory to nail it, but it is there. So this is a diamond probably from India, this big stone. And then I got 5 stones from local supplier. Ray knows them, the big company in Canada, Spence Diamond. They're selling a lot of laboratory grown diamonds and natural diamonds. So this is each stone is 3 to 3.10 carats. Why I put together? Because it's interesting to see fluorescence together. On the top right, you can see fluorescence under long UV light. These 4 very similar to my previous stone, like weak blue. One of them maybe greenish blue. So it could be weak blue or greenish blue. On the short UV on the left, you can see becoming more green blue or more green on the short UV light. What I did for you, just one little video. Hopefully it will be sound, so let me know. Sorry, no sound, but you can see a little bit of phosphorescence. Do you see it, Ray? Look carefully. I'm turning off the light, and for 1-2 seconds, in the middle stone is phosphorescing. You saw it or not? Okay, you have to look carefully, because this is what you can see, not too much. CVD diamonds fluoresce very short. Look at this, in the middle. 2 seconds, it's gone. If it's HPHT, it would phosphoresce 10-15 seconds. I even stone 1-2 minutes. I go have a coffee, to get my coffee, come back, still phosphorescing. This is your CVD. In the middle was more obvious because it has more intense fluorescence. Okay, let's move to another case. Actually, all of them, just to show you, because it's educational webinar, not only on fluorescence. This is stones. If you look on the cross-polarized filters using portable, or sometimes people use big polariscope is possible on the big stone. But if you have 10-point stones, you need to use small on microscope. You can see a parallel line, very obvious in this case. In this case, sometimes not so obvious, a little bit mixture here. But this is your suspicious or CVD pattern, just using one technique, cross-polarized filters. We can do special webinars in the future when you don't run out of speakers just on this. I have lectures just on that. Anyway, this is interesting case. And Ray lives in Vancouver. He knows very Robson Street, our heart of Vancouver, very touristic place, a lot of jewelry stores. Young man buys earrings for his girlfriend. And the girlfriend insisting that she comes to laboratory, and I'm very known here as a good person. People search my books and my bio, and I'm the best. People, even local appraisers, pass it to me stones. They're not sure if it's synthetic or natural. So he passed it to me. One stone, no problem, natural. Another stone, it's laboratory grown. Both sold as natural on Robson Street. So look at this. On the top right is your fluorescence on the long UV. One stone is natural, has a weak medium blue. Other one is almost none. And then on the right is on the long UV is none, and on the short UV becoming a little bit blurry. It's your green fluorescence. But I'll show you a short video. You can see with the sound now why it's important. Just be patient with me. Okay, here. On the short UV light, stone on the right has a green fluorescence, yellowish green. And when I turn off the light, phosphorescing for another 10 seconds. HPHT synthetic, sold as natural. Okay, you could hear my voice, yeah? That's good. So one more time. Just it's important to test all jewelry with a long UV and short UV because of this. And when I turn off the light, phosphorescing for another 10 seconds. HPHT synthetic, sold as natural. Okay. Why it's important? Because this is VVS2 clarity. You cannot look at the inclusions. You cannot look at anything else. It's mounted. This is the only your line of defense is good UV lamp. And of course, if you can make a video and or photo, and people do this around the world, this is my best-selling instrument, and they send me images. Okay, just to update you what's happening now in the market with the CVD, and because it's new, it was a nice small article in GA, Gems in Gemology, last year on update on company from Texas called Plasmability Technology. They're growing CVD diamonds with one step, and not in stages. So there is no layer structure. What does it mean? No layer structure. no layer structure means problem for my little portable polariscope. I cannot use it all the time. You will see how it looks now without layer structure. And fluorescence is not so obvious. So I'm studying this since November. I have 15 stones. I have some preliminary results. And I'm now doing with a gentleman from Finland, probably you know him, who come to my conferences. I see some people who came to Italy and workshops. Mikko Armstrong from Margie Labs. And also I'm going now next week to GRS laboratory in Hong Kong, and we publish different books on CVD diamonds. They got now, they're opening now, and I'm helping diamond service again. So I'll check these stones with diamond view. But this is basically how it looks stone with a deep UV diamond view of GAA. So you can see a lot of orange fluorescence. What does it mean red orange? It means for me and for you that stone is not treated CVD, but is unusual, very, very unusual for natural diamonds. So very suspicious. But also some blue color coming through. So this is interesting. Some dislocation just to involve you a little bit in science. So what I want to show you, I studied these stones and not many of them. I just put here pictures of 360 carat, 310, 150 of 70. I have all down to half carat. On the right, I put two stones here that are basically natural diamond type 2A and 1A. I studied them and I'll give results, but what I give here in red is that pattern on the cross polarized filters. Looks like a multicolor pattern in natural diamond. I'll show you. And one stone, 156, no fluorescence and weak violet blue under deep UV, very natural looking. So these new CVD look very natural for those who use only standard instruments. And I'm teaching this a lot, so I'm warning people to be careful. So you can see here on the top, on the long UV, this is 360 and 310. Okay, this is more or less easy. Why? Because if you look on the short UV, better resolution, with the DUV, what is that? Deep UV, basically the same size as this one, just a white instrument. It has a deeper UV. I sold all of them. I'm now getting more in Hong Kong from my supplier in Australia. I'll meet him there. Very popular instrument. In Tucson, I ran out of them. So basically, you can see here is medium, pinkish orange, orangey pink, or strong to medium. So basically, based on these colors, no problem, CVD. But look, if you don't use this instrument, if I cover this on the left, and just use cross-polarized filters. And a few of you took my workshops in Montana or Italy or before. You can see pattern looks very much like natural. You can go to my book and say, oh, Branko told me if I see this pattern in diamonds is natural. Yes, I told you, but this is, for example, this is 1AB diamond natural here pattern, very similar. So basically, yes, now they can make CVD that pattern, one technique failing. Okay, on good news on the left, it's working. But look at now, problem. Problem is that I study maybe 16 stones, 3 out of 16. So what is this? 20%. Doesn't show this orange pink fluorescence, showing this more I call purple blue fluorescence. You can see here. Very, very close what we usually see, more blue in natural. So basically now to say if it's purple, blue, or blue, you need to really use good camera or good handouts or take my workshop and look at the stones, because you have to separate next to each other blue and purple blue or blue purple. So this is now why it's so complicated and why it's important not to take only webinars but also to see the stones. I show local appraisal in Vancouver, a good friend, stones. Of course, when you see it, he will remember now what to look. So this is a pattern more natural looking, but in some positions it's parallel. So it's important to rotate the stone and check all positions, not just one or two. That's why I'm telling you, new CVD, this is company from Dubai, and you'll see at the end of my presentation, we're going to visit them. It's part of my conference. We're going to visit this company, CVD factory, and to see how they're growing it. And at my workshop, we will test at least 10 stones from this company, because this is new. Okay, one little video to finish diamond session is about, this is from my first online webinar a long time ago, maybe now 10 years, how to use portable instruments. This is smaller version, PL inspector. You have 3 pink diamonds and how to separate them just based on fluorescence. So it's 1 minute, but hopefully it's a good break for you to finish this session on diamonds. So we are back now at fluorescence station, this time we'll check 3 pink diamonds, number 1, 2, and 3 on your list, using mini UV lamp called PL Inspector, designed especially as a black box to check fluorescence long UV and short UV, compare it, intensity and color. We'll start with the marquee stone is a fancy pink. It's my borderline master from grading pink diamonds. And we will look fluorescence under this opening. We can look at it on our naked eye, observe it, but it's much better to use a phone. There's an app called Geometrix on the Apple Store and Google Store. You can download this app for free and basically compare the images, save it, and also study more later. You can see a long UV fluorescence is a strong blue. We can save the image by taking the photo, switch to short UV fluorescence, and the fluorescence is 1 degree weaker. It's now medium blue. Blue fluorescence is typical for natural diamond, natural color. In this case, is pink. It's from Argyle, Australia, and it's a first screen test that it is a diamond first, and it is natural diamond because long UV is stronger than short UV, and blue fluorescence is very common for many diamonds, including pinks from some sources. Now we'll check second stone that is round, and its color is more intense. It's purple, deep purple, fancy deep purple, and we can check the same instrument, same technique, same procedure. Long UV first. We get our phone ready and take the image under long UV light. You can see that the color is very different than first stone. It's a mixture of blue as well, but orange is much stronger. It's a mixture of blue and orange and mottled fluorescence under long UV light, quite strong. When we switch to short UV light, fluorescence would change from mixture of blue and orange to more pure orange, yellowish orange. Same intensity. This is typical fluorescence of stone that is irradiated and heated, and the first step in this case is HPHT process, so it's multi-step treated stone. What we can do, we can compare these two images again, use a slider to split the stone in two, and save it in our library. You see how there's a slight difference in colors. What is important because this is typical for natural diamonds that are treated. And the last stone is the smallest one. It's orangey pink, fancy intense orangey pink. We observe fluorescence the same way. What is nice about this PL Inspector has a built-in magnifier, so we can see a little bit bigger stones, and we can use camera to also additionally magnify the image. You can see now the long UV light. It's quite strong, very strong actually, yellowish orange. And the long UV light, we put in the center and focus and take the image, save it in the library, and do the same with short UV light. In this case, fluorescence did not change. It's the same intensity, very strong orange, and same color. So this is typical for stones that are treated, but lab grown. In this case, it's CVD grown, treated diamond. We cannot 100% tell it's synthetic before we do other tests. We can check this kind of stones later with the advanced spectrometer and confirm that it's synthetic. Also, we can use cross-porous filters and other techniques like infrared spectroscopy. This is how we can screen stones with fluorescence only in 3 categories: natural, treated, and lab grown. Okay, we are back now. Sorry. I hope you enjoyed the practical workshop. You see, Ray, I surprised you with the practical workshop in a webinar, not only Branko talking, Branko demo stones. I think it's very important to show people real reactions and how it works. These pink diamonds, I studied a long time ago, not only this one, generally, actually. Rio Tinto, 2007, when I was in different laboratory, but in Vancouver, gave me a nice research grant, $50,000 was big money then, and still now is big money. I study pinks, how to separate with these simple techniques in parcel. What to do with the parcels of pinks? They cut in India, 1 point, 2 points, 5 points. So we published it in 2008 at the Diamond Related Materials and Conference European in Berlin. But anyway, I also studied 2014 with the GRS, pink diamonds. Why? Because so many melee pinks from Argyle, they're very expensive, talking about $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 per carat, small stones. So it's important to separate. So one technique is fluorescence as a not magic technique, not 100% technique, but it's very good. So basically, what's the problem? Problem is that so many, it was 200,000 per carat a few years ago in China, maybe now it's 500,000 per carat. They're making these diamonds. They're making more than every year, more and more, and the cheaper and cheaper. But so in a parcel like this, of course, fluorescence can help. But you can see here, when I see blue fluorescence or orange or yellow, strong, I know it's natural, but there's so many stones without fluorescence. But then I check on the right side if they phosphoresce or they stay the same. If they stay the same, there's a big chance to be natural, big chance, right? Because could be still CVD diamonds without fluorescence. So it's a problem. But of course, at least we screen them, and then we have to check more with the systems like Thomas has this fluorescence imaging system or diamond view where you can combine spectroscopy and fluorescence or see the structure. But we can tell you can still detect all of these stones, combination of standard and advanced instruments. I use standard and a little bit of advanced with my EXA spectrometer that I bring with me to workshops, introducing portable spectrometers as well on gemstones. You will see now in next block, we'll talk about gems. That was part one. Hopefully you enjoyed it, but please, any question, you can text me now even on diamonds, don't forget, and I'll answer at the end all these questions. Ray told me we have unlimited time, and I didn't plan anything today except to do education. So please text any questions. For gemstones is
into chat.
Yes, in the chat.
Text into chat, yeah.
Yeah, very good. So basically, in gemstones, of course, it's important. First step is to accurate identification. It's amazing how many gemologists in Canada and US as well are called gemologists, but they don't really do accurate identification or they miss it. I mean, of course, happen to everybody, but you have less chance if you are trained, you have more instruments, and you take some more workshops. So by using standard instruments, we can do a lot, gemstones, and but not everything could be done. Sometimes very clean stone, synthetic, or now they call it lab gem materials because they're following this laboratory grown diamond trend. I don't like you use lab for gems because it's misleading. But anyway, they important to check them with the combination of standard and advanced. Of course, in the case of ruby, it's more or less known that many of them fluoresce, not all, but if it's like this, probably, I don't say it's natural ruby, but probably is ruby, but could be also spinel, could be other things. So important to use fluorescence very carefully in gemstones because there's so much more overlap. But as long UV is stronger than short UV, we probably think is okay, but could be also synthetic stone. I'll show later more images of fluorescence of red stones. So this is another case. This actually now 6 years ago, time is passing, 2020, came this little pendant, bought in Chinatown in Vancouver. We have a 20-30% population Asian in Vancouver. There's a lot of course, Chinese sellers and buyers. So client bought this all as natural stones. One coral, one pearl, and one yellow sapphire, so very pale yellow. And I don't know if you know, but a lot of people believe in powers of gemstones, and it has to be pure stone, natural sapphires, natural coral, no treatments. So guess what? Fluorescence was the key in testing these stones. So you have to know a lot about fluorescence, but each gemstone, not only diamonds. So you can see here a little bit that the coral could have a weak or medium reddish fluorescence in the middle, this one, and on the short UV weaker. Pearl usually fluoresce strong whitish blue, 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 white, and a little bit weaker. Guess what? This third stone, yellow sapphire, could fluoresce a little bit weak orange, yellow sapphires, but not. This was medium orange, medium red, and on the short UV was crazy strong reddish orange. You see this? Short UV stronger than long UV. It's much stronger. So this is my first red flag. Something is wrong. But believe me, many appraisers would appraise this as natural, because if it's stone relatively clean and it comes with coral and pearl, okay, must be yellow sapphire. Like it's not even a good cut. It was really bad cut. So basically, of course, I'm a little bit spoiled. I have my right gemologist EXA, what is really Margie Labs portable PL spectrometer. Not only diamonds, they make it as a diamond instrument, but has a big reference of synthetic and natural gemstones. And guess what? I click here and matching perfectly synthetic cubic zirconia. See these peaks are rare earth elements. This is cubic zirconia cut as a yellow sapphire to trick the person. With this report, they came back to the Chinatown, and the woman, she paid $2,000 for this, what is not small money. They found her, and she gave her another yellow stone that was natural. It was very busy, very low quality, but it was natural yellow sapphire. So fluorescence is very important. Another case, glass. Not all glasses fluoresce like this, but in this case was a green cabochon that could be jade, could be something else. On the short UV, it's strong, chalky, greenish blue, green, chalky green. This is your glass, based on fluorescence. Because of course you can look at a microscope and find gas bubbles and other things, but sometimes glass doesn't have gas bubbles. Not all glass has gas bubbles. So important to check fluorescence. Ruby. Okay, we know ruby why it's red, because of chromium as impurity. Aluminum oxide is a pure corundum coroless, and this is part of my program on rubies and sapphires intermediate. But so basically you have always absorption emission actually in this part of the spectra. Close to 700 is red emission. Why? Because there's emission of fluorescence from higher level energy to lower. Not all rubies will fluoresce red, but if they fluoresce because of chromium, some rubies have too much iron, like rubies from Thailand or some sources in Africa, they will quench fluorescence if it's non-fluorescent. So if it's strong, it's due to chromium. This little booklet I made every year, but I stopped for a few years. I was doing diamonds, but 2019 I did the red gemstones. Simple for basic gemology, for those who study red gemstones, how to separate. I put few, sorry, it's a scans, it's not original. I was too busy to find. So basically you can see here glass, definitely stronger on the short UV. Garnet and glass doublet, very important picture, because you can see garnet does not fluoresce on the top. This is your top, your table, and the bottom fluoresce because of glass. Another one, you see garnet doesn't fluoresce. So of course, this is also a check each stone on the cross polarized filters. Garnet has anomalous double refraction sometimes. Ruby from Mogok could have strong red fluorescence and weak red. This is ruby with a nice color, a natural color, intact rutile needles. So this is your ruby. But be careful, not all ruby has strong fluorescence, and sometimes could be medium fluorescence. This is from Madagascar, so it has less chromium. It's also natural ruby. This is your fluorescence is not magical to tell you about treatments, of course. It gives you some indication sometimes. I had a class actually on Friday about rubies and sapphires, and I show my students how in a ring of 50, 60 small rubies, I can tell they're heated or not without microscope, because all of them under short UV had a chalky red fluorescence. In this case, it's a lead glass filled ruby, so we need to use loupe or microscope to find these flashes. But still, this stone has weak red fluorescence because of chromium. Be careful with synthetics, because yes, they could be very strong red to strong red, almost the same intensity. This is something that in flame fusion one that is most common. Of course, curve striae and gas bubbles telling you flame fusion, but fluorescence is your first indication. But be careful, because you could have strong red fluorescence in a natural ruby. So fluorescence is not always the key test in gemstones, but it's an indication to go further. In this case, when you have this short UV, very strange, chalky green fluorescence, this is definitely unusual. This is your very common imitation of alexandrite. It's synthetic color change sapphire. Not so nice color change, of course, as alexandrite. Not even as synthetic alexandrite, but it has a gas bubbles, color bending. But this is your color change synthetic color change sapphire. Very common imitation. So spinels could fluoresce. So that's why it's important not to mix with the ruby, but if you check under the second instrument, that's a combined two, cross-polarized filters, spinel is single refractive, has some anomalous double refraction. When stone is synthetic spinel on the bottom, much stronger cross-hatch effect. So this is very powerful instrument for spinel, for example, synthetic or natural. In this case, you can see how synthetic spinel has a much stronger short UV, medium chalky green, and natural spinel should have stronger long UV in these two cases. This is your synthetic. Sometimes it doesn't work all the time. See, this is synthetic, but there's a crystal, so it's a little bit different. But crystal is a crystal, so be careful always to check with another instrument. Okay, then I did another book a year or two after on green gemstones, and in this case, I'll show you alexandrite. You see, natural alexandrite, medium red to weak red. Alexandrite synthetic, very strong red-orange to medium orange-yellow almost. So unusual fluorescence. You have to have reference stones. All these stones are part of my collection. I keep it for education. But I just want to warn you out. Don't assume if a short UV is stronger, it must be synthetic. I'll show you here two stones, andalusite and apatite. Not very common stone, but still. First, they have strong pleochroism. You can separate using a dichroscope, but medium yellowish-green fluorescence. And this is a natural stone in andalusite. Or in a case of apatite, they have a chalky white fluorescence under purplish white fluorescence under short UV. Of course, apatite has very strong spectra. I'll show you later some blue apatite from my latest book on blue gemstones. Okay, let's move to another very important fluorescence. This is the most important technique for emeralds, in my opinion. Why? Because it's telling you not only that emerald is oiled, not oiled, but also type of the filler. This is my samples for education. One palma oil, one gemetrat. You can see how it's a medium greenish yellow, very strong greenish blue in case of gemetrat, because basically it's a resin, it's not oil, it's more blue. This is emerald that basically was cleaned from oil. You can see a little bit weak reddish fluorescence, what could happen in emerald with a lot of chromium. And this trapiche has a few fractures here. You can see there's a fracture. You have this greenish yellow fluorescence. This is probably cedarwood oil. This is your little proof that this stone is oiled, and most emeralds are oiled. So basically, I put on the comment, most emeralds are oiled to improve clarity, not to scare the client and to just tell them it's normal procedure. Okay. There are some people using filters, red filters, and all kind of filters. Alan Hodgkinson and another person made it from US who just passed away. I forgot his name. But anyway, filters are good, but not magic. Why? Because not all emeralds fluoresce strong red synthetic under filters or under UV light. There's a hydrothermal emeralds from Russia do not fluoresce. So you need to look for other things. Phenacate crystals, chevron pattern, hydrothermally grown. This is your flux emerald. It has unusual fluorescence, orangey red, or a little bit orange. Same intensity. So same intensity is also suspicious when you have same intensity of synthetic. This is something to warn you. But this one doesn't have same. This is a synthetic flux from Russia. Medium red, very weak red. Why to be careful? Because very, very rare, but I've seen it. High quality Colombian emeralds from Muzo mine could have weak to medium red fluorescence. So don't use fluorescence as the only technique. Always combine with microscopy. This one has flux inclusion. This is flux emerald from Russia. And Muzo has natural inclusions, probably 3-phase. So if you're now at my workshop, and you took it not only with me, but we have Dr. Lori Kiefert. She's an expert on gemstones. She can do also more country origins. I'm doing only in rare cases in Vancouver. I'm going to go do more. I'm going to collaborate more with GRS Laboratory in Hong Kong and learn more about country origin in the future, hopefully, and offer more service for that. But now I'm focusing on, is it synthetic, natural, or treated stones? This is, for example, what I would show you if you are in my workshop. That green-blue fluorescence, strong, telling you it's opticon, cedarwood, weak yellow in fractures. We can even tell amount of oiling based on fluorescence. This is a laboratory use this to say it's minor, moderate, or significant oiling by seeing how busy is stone with the fracture. The more fractures, the more fluorescence you have in as a reaction of oil in the long UV light, 365. Synthetic emerald, strong red fluorescence. This one flux, weak orange red fluorescence. There's also some stones like yellow garnet, YAG, has strong yellowish green fluorescence. So all these things, fluorescence can help you to identify the stones or give you the indication. This is on a couple of years ago, maybe 5-10 years ago, they started to sell people from Asia in Tucson show Canadian jade. Canadian jade basically is a quartzite that is dyed to look like a jade. Why Canadian? Because we have so much nephrite jade in British Columbia. But under very strong chalky yellowish green fluorescence under long UV light, tell you it's dyed. Plus, of course, concentration of color in these grains under microscope. This is my actually doing on Monday workshop on jade. I do a lot of workshops in Vancouver. So whoever is North America, please contact me at brankodem@gmail.com, and I do 2-3 times a year here because it's easy for me to do it in Vancouver. This is my age jade under fluorescence. So could be non, in some area could be weak yellow. Why it's weak yellow? Because it has a wax. Waxing is accepted in jade as waxing is accepted in pearls. But when you see more blue or blue-green like this, it's not accepted. It's B jade polymer treated, and it has to be disclosed, and price is 5 to 10 times less, of course. This is your B and C next to each other. You can see here, hopefully you can see how under long UV light, a little bit more green in the center here under long UV, and on the short UV, it's even stronger green. You can see weak. You can see it obviously the chalky green. This is your dyed stone. So more green and more chalky green is dyeing, evidence of dye. More blue, it's evidence of polymer or plastic impregnation. They do this to basically fill up the little cracks or little cavities when they clean stones with acid to remove iron stains. And so basically they would do that as a second step or third step in jade. I do a lot of jade in Vancouver. I'm the only one actually who has infrared spectroscopy. You can tell if it's B or A scientifically with the infrared, not only fluorescence. I always use infrared as a second technique, last one. This is the first. So be careful. When you see this kind of blue thing here, doesn't mean always that is a polymer. This is your glue that is fluorescing. Bangle was broken and they glue it. But this is across here. This is your polymer in the B jade. I just put here next to each other. Hopefully you can see it, but it's not the best picture. But A jade usually don't fluoresce, or this one fluorescing, like this is the stone in the fracture exactly. This is blue, and more yellowish green, or even stronger yellowish green. This is your dyed. Big piece here, and these two on the right are dyed jade called C jade. In terminology, we're using same as Mason K. Okay, I almost finished my part of the gemology lecture. A lot of questions, what is good. So this is my latest book on blue gemstones. Just came out in Tucson. You can see that I'm talking about diamonds and gems. Many conferences. I did 7 Mediterranean, from Greece 2015 to Italy and Slovenia 2024. And I started international conferences, and I did Brisbane, Australia 2023, last year Montana, and next one coming up is Dubai. But anyway, blue gems. So of course, you can see that we put some two crystals here because we went to Montana, so we like these flat crystals from Montana. Interesting resorption features like a little triangulars, and you can see here, this is sapphire. Of course, taking a spectra, we can prove this natural stone. It has a 450 line, what is typical for sapphires with iron. But how we can use fluorescence? Okay. First, unusual fluorescence of color change synthetic sapphire. This violet color is very unusual. Okay, this is your natural mogok, and this is your man-made glass. In this case, we even use deep UV. You can see better fluorescence on gemstones even using deep UV than regular short UV, 220. So this is an important picture. It's a part of this booklet. I had one client, he has 7-carat stone, completely clean, only has a zoning. Sometimes you have to rely on what you see. Because it's straight parallel zoning, this is natural stone, probably from Sri Lanka. It is. If it's curved, could be basically synthetic sapphire from whatever, Russia or China or some producer. I want to show you something. Under short UV light, he has a zoned fluorescence in this part of the stone. You see this kind of zigzag, interesting fluorescence. And this is your only thing you can tell the stone is heated. When you see a clean stone, you cannot prove it by inclusion that they're modified, just based on fluorescence. So very important to use short UV fluorescence or deep UV for gemstones as well to tell if it's heated in this case. Of course, many stones like turquoise has a typical fluorescence, long UV light, more blue. We'll study turquoise at the workshops in Dubai. So this is to show you that some stones has unusual fluorescence. Afganite is rare stone, but very typical weak orange fluorescence. So you can tell by this is not sapphire, or very strange. Or in this case, apatite has very typical spectra. It has these strong 580 doublets. Sometimes fluorescence doesn't help because it's short UV, very weak blue. So it's something to record, but inclusions and spectra tell you is apatite, of course, refractive index. We always do refractive index first, but it's not about basic gemology. This is a program about a little bit intermediate level. So now I'll show you some demo of to finish the gem section on the jade, how to use for jade. Here a break. Back to fluorescence is a very important technique for translucent and opaque gems, cabochons, carving. We have one number 11 over cabochon, another two under 13A and B, and one kind of trapezoid cabochon 16. Let's see what you can see under jewelry inspector. Check fluorescence first under long UV light. It is quite strong in case of this first stone. Unusual for, looks like a jade, but never seen such a strong fluorescence in jade, especially not green, yellowish green. So take the image and compare to short UV light, almost the same intensity, just maybe more yellowish. And it's definitely not a jade because it's too much fluorescence, too much green. See here, bluish green and yellowish green. This is a dyed quartzite. And of course, we can verify that looking at the loop microscope. In cracks, there is the foreign material. Explain everything on your gemstone list. Now, I'll put two cabochons next to each other because sometimes it's very difficult to separate this fluorescence. I'm working now 10 years in Canadian Gem Lab. It's a lot of jade. And I developed my own little technique how to screen them. Always identify them at the end with the infrared spectrometer, but it's a good screen technique, especially when you have big stones or you don't have access to infrared spectrometer. So let's see what we can see. Two cabochons next to each other. Here. So even at the first sight, they look very similar fluorescence. It's very important to notice the subtle differences in colors and intensity. On the left side, the stone is more greenish blue, more blue than green. On the right side is more green than blue, like bluish green. Intensity is about the same. We can say medium intensity. You can take the image, the long UV light, there's short UV. You can see the fluorescence definitely diminished on the left side, but on the right side is still quite green. These fractures here is basically localized green. It's very important because this stone on the right is dyed. This is the evidence of dye fluorescing here. This is just a polymer bleached and treated. So this is BJ, this is CJ. So when I compare these images, I can also show you better about the look and can slide them. You can see that it's blue and green. The last stone to check, another translucent gemstone. I bought this stone in a Hong Kong show, green turquoise from Iran. And I was amazed with the colors. Wow, is it possible really? Then I came home. I didn't pay too much, but it's good. Came home and look what I found. Found that fluorescence of this stone quite dense. All these cracks fluoresce more green, because it's dyed turquoise and stabilized polymer treated and dyed. You can see here very obviously how all color is really in the cracks. Fluorescence is a really good technique to see this and compare these images. And we can see how it's much more stronger on the short long UV light and weaker on the short UV, but it's really all colored in these cracks. This is basically polymer treated and dyed turquoise. And this is all explained in the booklet with here about jade. I was talking A and B, C, polymer. A jade do not fluoresce. It's a fluoresce either more stronger blue or stronger green. And we have other imitation of jade. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the little demo. I couldn't show you, of course, all gemstones, but some that are more useful for you. And jade is a difficult stone to identify. Sometimes fluorescence is good, but not the only answer. It's one of the 3 tests I would do. To summarize everything, there is a direct correlation between impurities, elements in gemstones, and cause of color of gemstones. So long UV, short UV fluorescence relate to absorption spectrum of gems. I can guess, and most of the time, what spectra I will see just looking at fluorescence, talking about diamonds and gemstones, but not always. I'm surprised sometimes. And that's why it's good to combine. This is image from Randy. He put basically UV lamp on the microscope and take this picture in the middle of the sapphire with the zoning, what is interesting. Something you can see even in UV light, if it's good big stone, these zones of zoning in the sapphire. So it's not always conclusive, but it's very important to combine with something like a portable spectrometer in spectrum or better one, EXA, or of course, if you have money to invest in $20,000 or $100,000 instrument, great. So what I'm doing, I'm teaching a lot these techniques, not only me, basic gemology, intermediate, advanced, also for diamonds, with Dr. Laurie Kifford, with Randy Lightfoot, with the top 6 people in diamonds, all available online. You can get certificates. It's a serious online program with the test. You have to pass 16 out of 20 questions. I'm doing this for the last 3 years because I cannot reach everybody. But what is new? I'm very excited about this. I'm finally starting this year in May, 3 weeks intense program of foundation gemology based on GemA. Just moved dates 1 week after, May 18 to June 4th, because some people want to go to Las Vegas show international. I'm teaching with Elena, my wife, and it's first step towards your FGA diploma that I think is the best diploma in gemology. I did both American and British and French. I think American is good for diamonds, British for gemology. One day to be British also good for diamonds. I'm reviewing, and hopefully it's be done in the future. But right now, I recommend this very much for the gemstones if you want to learn to be one step.
Hey, just if you could take a look at the chat room and see if you can answer some of the questions there.
Yes, I will do this while I'm talking. That's great. Okay, so this is the next conference, and this is the last slide. I want to show you what I'm doing next. So we finished basically official program. I think I'm on time, 1 hour, you told me, approximately 1 hour. So now I can answer questions. Okay, very good. Okay, here a question from Carlos Mosconi. He's from California. Please elaborate on stone 3, pink. How did you conclude to your findings? Carlos, I have 3 stones. One was natural, that was easy, blue fluorescence. One was natural, that is treated, multi-step, because it's a mixture of fluorescence of orange and blue, and long UV was stronger. And the last one, because intensity was same on the long UV and short UV, very strong orange. It's indication that stone is CVD because you see so many CVD diamonds. Usually it's strong to very strong orange. That's the only thing I can tell you. It's based on fluorescence. I can know most probably is CVD or HPHT. In my experience, HPHT more reddish orange and CVD more orange. But this is not, it's not important really if it's CVD or HPHT. Important is not natural diamond, is not even treated because the intensity is almost the same and very strong. Okay. Okay, a question from another person. I don't see the name, but it says sociology. Are there any colors of long UV fluorescence that would still positively identify natural synthetic without any other test under long UV? Yes. Yes. Basic answer is very similar, but important. I did lectures in Diamond Dealer Club in New York, Los Angeles, and I was surprised how many dealers doesn't know. When you see diamond on a long UV light with a medium, strong, or very strong blue fluorescence, you are dealing with natural diamond. They're like, wow, nobody told me about this. I said, I'm talking about this for 20 years and teaching about this, it's published. So this is what you can do with the long UV only. Because if you're using only long UV, if it's blue, it's natural. But be careful. If it's none, or weak blue or greenish blue, could be also your CVD without fluorescence or CVD with the that is post-treated that has weak greenish blue, and under short UV it's medium yellowish green. That's why if you just want to save money on using just long UV, you'll be doing that. All blues are natural and the rest are, you cannot tell what they are. You have to do more tests. You need to do short UV and do something else. So this is what you can do. Test more with short UV and other instruments. But long UV, yes, blue fluorescence is your proof. Okay. One question from Carlos also. The Colombian emeralds are hydrothermally grown. How do you differentiate? Of course, fluorescence is one technique. It's not only, and you can differentiate by inclusions. A natural emerald from Colombia has natural inclusions, three-phase inclusions, gas bubbles, with square highlight and liquid. Hydrothermally grown has usually clean. They have chevron pattern of growth, similar like other hydrothermal stones, rubies. So this is how you do it. Question is how separate from nephrite. I didn't talk about jade in this lecture. It's a different lecture completely. It takes 2 hours to separate nephrite from jadeite and imitations. I'm doing it tomorrow. Actually, Carlos, you're in California. Next time you come up, I do jade for you. Nephrite is completely different than jadeite from point of refractive index, 161 over 166. No fluorescence, and definitely very different infrared spectra. By infrared spectra, one test takes 1 minute. I can separate nephrite from jadeite all day long. As long as I can pass the light. If it's opaque stone, is more problem. And I'm dealing with this as well. I have huge units to do specific gravity of jade because of jade is big in Vancouver. Specific gravity of nephrite is under 3. Specific gravity of jadeite is over 3, 3.3 or something. So you can separate by specific gravity as well if it's opaque or by structure. And jadeite has more granular structure and nephrite has more interlocking fibrous structure, and nephrite actually is the toughest gemstone, more tough. You cannot break. I tried. Client give me permission to break the nephrite. Sometimes it's difficult to break with a hammer. So yes, so this is what I can tell you about jadeite. Let me see if you have more questions. Unless, Ray, you see something that I missed, let me know. Can you see the questions or no? Ray?
I can't see. I can't see the question there.
You can or cannot?
No, cannot.
Okay, okay. I see it. Yes. I think that was people thank me on lecture. And question also, if ruby under what to determine by naked eye? It's not clear what you mean by what. Naked eye, you cannot tell by naked eye ruby is a natural synthetic. Same like a diamond. I mean, there is a little controversy about how the diamond looks the same to a naked eye. So that's why we can sell it as a diamond, even if synthetic. This is ridiculous. You cannot say if it's diamond VVS2 or SA2 by naked eye, but there's a big difference in price, natural. So you cannot tell, of course, with naked eye if it's synthetic or natural diamond or ruby. But you can do with a little UV lamp. You can do with a little microscope or 30 magnification, even you can see a lot. And of course, you can do by spectroscopy. So big difference in origin, a big difference in value, of course.
There was a question that just came up regarding the availability of this program. And just know that all the programs are recorded
Yes.
by Clemens, and after a week or two should show up on his YouTube channel at Leeds University.
Yes. I see one more question by Scott Robbins. Would you be able to confirm the wavelength used in deep UV? Okay, I can just tell you approximate wavelength. I didn't make this instrument, but I do believe that consumers, sorry, manufacturer would not lie to me. It's around 220 nanometers, deep UV around. And similar wavelength, I don't know exactly the same, is used in this instrument costs around $900 deep UV on my website, brankogem.com. But other instruments like Sherlock Holmes, Watson started 2,500 to 5,000. So difference is that they circle for you what is probably synthetic, and in this case you have to match your colors by a manual or workshop experience. This is the difference. So thank you for coming, and I don't know if anything else, please come or listen to. There are a lot of webinars I'm doing on my website. They're free, so you don't have to pay for workshop or webinars. Good, like Ray is doing with Clemens. I try to educate people. So, of course, if you come to the conference like this, you need to pay for workshops. But it's very unique because we do also pearl diving. We do amber, turquoise, and rough diamonds first time. I did many laboratory grown diamonds workshops, but this is first time doing rough, amber, and turquoise, and design. This is new.
Thank you so much for your time and your information, Branko. I hope you had
Yes.
fun doing it.
Yes.
We had a good attendance today, and I will say for those that are still here that our next program, if it's going to happen as planned, will be presented to us by the owner of Freakin' Cat. Now, Freakin' Cat has a reputation of having the widest and the broadest selection of cut gems in the world, and he's going to be sharing with us a slideshow and description of his collection. You'll see things you'll never imagined as cut stones, or that are better than anything you can imagine in cut stone. So I'm really looking forward to having an inside view of the world's best collection of rare gems, and I'm hoping that you'll find it of interest as well. And following that, we're going to have Peter. Oh, damn it. Anyway, he'll. Oh, it's terrible when you're old. Your brain doesn't work as well. Anyway, we'll have in April, we'll have a talk on a variety of stones that you'll all be interested in when you see it, because this gentleman has collected at some of the best locations in the world where no one else has been. So I know it's a bit mysterious, but we'll announce it well in advance. So if you want to attend, you don't want to miss this. So thank you all for attending. Thank you very much, Branko, for doing the work of it, and thank you, Clemens, and
Yeah.
that'll be the end of the recording. So thanks so much, and I hope you all have a good day.
Yeah, thank you for nice feedback, and hope to see you. And all the best to you, Ray and Clemens.
Okay, thanks. Have a great day. That's the end of the
Bye.
show.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I
Are
hope
you there,
everything has
Clemens?
worked. Yeah, I'm here. I hope
Okay,
everything worked, and I will let you know as soon as possible.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you,
Okay.
Clemens,
Have a good
for
evening,
thank you for being with us.
Safe
guys.
trip
Yeah,
home.
I'll tell you about my trip in a couple of days.
No problem, no problem.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye. I'm closing now, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, bye.